Okay, guys, picking up where we left off on number 15, we have 2 times the absolute value of d plus 5 minus 1 is less than 3. So the first thing we do is get rid of the negative 1, and then we're going to get rid of the 2 so that we're left with just the absolute value symbol, which is a little bit different than the ones we did earlier. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the minus 1 by adding 1 to both sides. So the 1's cancel out, and that's going to leave me 2 times the absolute value of d plus 5 is less than 4. Then I want to get rid of the 2, and since it's 2 times the absolute value, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So the 2's change into a 1, and I'm left with the absolute value of d plus 5 is less than 2. All right, now remember, if it's a less than symbol, it's an and problem. So we're going to write it once exactly the way it is without the absolute value. So d plus 5 is less than 2, and we have d plus 5 is greater than negative 2. So we flip the sign, flip the inequality, and change the sign, okay? On both of these, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So we're going to get d is less than negative 3, and d is greater than negative 7. So if we write that together in one way, you get negative 7 is less than d, which is less than negative 3. And then we're going to graph that. So we're going to have open dots on negative 7, open dots on negative 3. It's less than negative 3. It's greater than negative 7, so it's going to be everything. That's the reason why I want you to use highlighters or colored pencils. So it's going to be everything between those 2 points is what we're going to shade because it's an and statement. All right? All right? Okay. So for number 16, we have 7x plus 2 times 3x minus 11 is less than or equal to 17. With the parentheses and the 2 in front of it, we did a distributive property. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times negative 11 is negative 22. Then we combine like terms. So 7x plus 6x is 13x, minus 22 is less than or equal to 17. We move the negative 22 to the other side by adding 22 to both sides. So it cancels out on the left. 17 plus 22 is 39. Bring down 13x. So then we divide by the coefficient of x. So we divide both sides by 13. So we get 13x is less than or equal to 39. Divided by 13 means x is less than or equal to 3. So then to graph it, mark on our number 9. We're going to have, should be a closed dot. I apologize. We're going to have a closed dot at positive 3. Because it has an equal to sign in it, and we're going to shade to the left because those are the numbers that are smaller than 3.
When I finish this problem, when it goes to the next clip, you're going to see this problem that doesn't have to do with that. It's the old number 16. Please go straight to number 17.
I'll tell you what to do so you can get more than one on the line. Okay, so number 17 is y is less than or equal to negative x minus 4. Okay, now these are the ones that we picked out the slope and the y-intercept. The number in front of x is your slope, which is m. So in this case, it's negative 1, so we write negative 1 over 1, which means we're going to go down 1 and to the right 1 when we count. This number is our b, which is where it crosses the y-axis. So our b is negative 4, which is the point 0, negative 4. Okay, so we're going to put a point at negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y-axis. From there, we're going to go down 1 and to the right 1. Down 1 and to the right 1. And then we're going to line our points up. And because it has an equal to sign in it, it is a solid line. So we're going to draw a solid line through those dots. All right, and then we need to decide where to shade our graph. So, since it is less than, then we want the number smaller than. But if you're not sure and 0 is not on there, we're going to test the point 0, 0. 0, 0 is the easiest one to test. Okay, so we go back and we have y is less than or equal to negative x minus 4. So I have 0 is less than or equal to negative 0 minus 4, which we know 0 is not negative. So we get 0 is less than or equal to negative 4. Well, 0 is not less than or equal to negative 4. That's false. So we're going to shade the side not containing 0, 0. So since 0, 0 is up here, we want to shade below the line or to the left of the line, whichever way makes you happy to say it. And one good thing about this is you can pause it so you can see, and then you can start it again. You can rewind it, whatever you need to do. Okay, so we're going to shade everything over here. Yes, I do mean shade it, because if you don't shade it, you're not going to get credit for that part, because you got to give me what state those, and then you have to give it to me. Shade it, graph it, and shade it. Okay? So that's what your shade will look like. All right? Number 18. It says y is greater than 3x plus 3. So our slope is 3, so we're going to go 3 over 1, which means we're going to go up 3, right 3. Our b is also 3, so it's the point 0, 3. So we start by plotting the point 0, 3. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to be right here. So this is -4. This is +3. All right, then we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And I know my points are going to run into this, so it's up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Draw my line. This time, though, it's going to be dashed because it doesn't have an equal to sign in it. So I line it up, and I'm going to dash it or dot it, whichever way you want to say it. Put arrows on each end, okay, all the way across. And now I'm going to decide where to graph. Again, 0, 0 is not on there, so we're going to test 0, 0. So it would be 0 is greater than 3 times 0 plus 3. So we get 0 is greater than 3. Again, that is false. So we're going to shade area not containing 0, 0, which would be to the left or above the line. Okay? So it's going to be everything over on this side. Okay? All that area right there. Now, so the difference is this one, the points on the line are part of the solution, and this one, the points on the line are not part of the solution. That's why it's dashed. Okay? All right, for number 19, we have 2y is greater than negative x minus 4. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of the 2 by dividing everything in the whole entire thing by 2. So that cancels and makes a 1. So we're left with y is greater than negative 1/2 x, because there's an understood 1 right here. Let me make it a different color because in case we have to shade. Okay, so there's an understood 1 right there, and I can just separate it and put the x to the side. And then negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So my m is negative 1/2, so I'm going to go down 1, right 2. And my b is negative 2, so that point is 0, negative 2. So I'm going to go down to negative 2 and put a point. I know my line's a little bit off, but I'm going to consider it on the line. And then I'm going to go down 1 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1 and to the right, 1, 2. So that is decreasing. Again, because there's not a line under my inequality, it is going to be a dashed line or a dotted line. So I'm going to line them up, and I'm going to dash all the way across to make my line. Arrows on each end. Then we're going to test. Since 0, 0 is not on there, I'm going to use 0, 0. You can use any point you want. I just like using 0, 0 because it's easy. So I have 2 times 0 is greater than negative 0 minus 4. So I get 0 is greater than negative 4. That time it is true. So we're going to shade on the side containing 0, 0. So that means we're going to shade above the line. And yes, I want the whole thing shaded. I don't want to just have a little bit of a scribble. I want you to shade it all the way, okay? So that's number 19. So we shade everything to above that line. And this means that the points on the line are not part of the answer, okay? All right, and then the last one, number 20. They give us 4x minus 3y is greater than 9. I need to get y by itself, so I'm going to move the 4x first by subtracting because that's positive. So that cancels out, leaving me negative 3y is greater than, and I want to put the x before the 9, so I get negative 4x plus 9. Okay? Then I'm going to divide everything by negative 3, but when we divide by negative 3, our inequality is going to flip directions. So I'm going to divide this by negative 3, and that by negative 3, and that by negative 3. That cancels out, leaving me y is less than 4/3 x, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and then 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So my m is 4/3, so I'm going to go up 4, right 3. My b is negative 3, so it's the point 0, negative 3. And because there's not an equal to sign in it, it's going to be a dashed line. Okay, so I start at negative 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to count up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we'll draw my dashed line. With arrows. Okay? Alright, so that's what it looks like. Alright, now to determine where to graph. Again, 0, 0 is not on there, so I'm going to test 0, 0. Now, if 0, 0 is on the line, then pick another point. It doesn't matter what point, just pick another point. So make sure that you're careful about where you plug it in. So I have 4 times 0 minus 3 times 0 is greater than 9. So I'm going to go back to the original equation, or inequality, excuse me. So I get 0 minus 0 is greater than 9, which says that 0 is greater than 9. Well, that is definitely a false statement. So I'm going to shade the area not containing 0, 0. If you put it in here, you're going to get 0 minus 3, which is negative 3, and 0 is not less than negative 3, so it doesn't matter if you do use it. But in case you make a mistake here, you can always take it back there. So that means I'm going to shade below, because 0, 0 made it false, so that means I got to shade on this side. So I'm going to shade everything below the line, all the way to the edge of the paper. And if it makes you feel any better, you have an extra day to study this part, because this part won't be on until Friday. Okay? Because you get half the questions tomorrow, half the questions on Friday. So there's number 20. All right. If you have any questions, tomorrow afternoon is tutorials. Okay?